Okay, first item on the agenda is closed session portion of the meeting. May I have a mover and seconder for motion to go into closed session under the authorities as printed in the agenda? Councillor Muir, Councillor McDonald. All in favor? All hands rising, motion is carried. 6:30. Okay, out of closed session, council discussed previous minutes and some potential litigation in closed session. Okay, the time being 7 o'clock, I'd like to call this meeting to order. First, we have the traditional territory acknowledgement followed by a moment of silence. Council of the Township of Red Rock hereby acknowledges that we are on the traditional territory of the Robinson Superior Treaty and that the land we gather on is home to the Red Rock Indian Band, the Anishinaabe, and the Métis people. Next, we have a proclamation for No Mow May. I'm going to read it out. Whereas No Mow May is a conservation initiative that encourages people to stop mowing or mow less often for the month of May to create habitat and provide resources for bees and other early season pollinators. Whereas during the month of May, the Township of Red Rock will relax the enforcement of long grass rules, allowing Red Rock residents to delay or reduce lawn cutting as a way to promote pollinator-friendly habitat early in the growing season. Whereas No Mow May is a voluntary program for township residents. Now, therefore, I, Darkis Robinson, Mayor for the Township of Red Rock, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2022 as No Mow May, and I urge all the people of Red Rock to participate in the initiative and refrain from cutting their lawns during the month of May. Is there a mover and seconder for motion to proclaim the month of May as No Mow May in the Township of Red Rock? Councillor Muir, Councillor Tedesco. All in favor? All hands rising, motion's carried. I feel my face is all right. Administration advises there's no additions to the agenda. Do any members of council wish to make amendments to the agenda? Okay, seeing none. Can I have a mover and seconder for a motion to approve the agenda as presented? Councillor Park. Councillor McDonald. All in favor? All hands rising, motion's carried. Are there any declarations of interest to disclose? Okay, seeing none. There are no presentations tonight. Okay, 5.1 minutes of the last regular meeting, April 18th. Are there any errors or omissions to note in the minutes? Seeing none. May I have a mover and seconder for motion to approve the minutes at items 5.1? Councillor Park, Councillor Tedesco. All in favor? All hands rising, motion's carried. Okay, first item 6.1, information purposes only relating to Thunder Bay Crime Stoppers who are seeking financial support. Do any members of council have any questions? Councillor Tedesco.
Have we contributed to this before?
Not that I can find, so that's why I brought it to council as direction, because to see if it was something that you wanted me to at least reach out to them for. It's kind of, it's from what I can gather and read, it's kind of a COVID related thing where they've come into a little bit of harder times recently too. So they're looking and reaching out to the communities as well. So with direction, I would certainly reach out to them and see exactly what they're requesting or looking for from the communities, and then bring it back to the next council meeting.
Council, does that sound? Okay. Reach out and follow up. Okay, next item is for discussion purposes relating to the Regional Libraries event, a Superior Adventure. Do members of council have any questions? Previous donation last year was a gift card. I guess that's what we've been doing, but do you want to continue on or increase the donation? Okay. Okay, is there a mover and seconder for motion to approve a donation to the Nipigon, Red Rock, and Dorian Libraries for the Superior Adventure event in the amount of, I'm going to say $50. I believe that's what it was last year, gift card. To this. All in favor? All hands rising, motion is carried. Okay, next item 6.3, information purposes only relating to the new update from the DSAT, Thunder Bay District DSAT Board. Do any members of council have any questions? Seeing none. Okay, moving on. Next item 7.1 are the minutes from the Red Rock Environmental Committee meeting, March 1st, 2022. Do any members of council have any questions? Seeing none, is there a mover and seconder for a motion to receive the minutes? Councillor Park, Councillor McDonald. All in favor? All hands rising, motion is carried. Items 8.1 is an update on firefighter certification training from the fire chief. Oh, there he is.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so I got a bunch of info here for you guys. So as you are aware, back in January, the OFM had been talking about mandatory certification for all firefighters in Ontario. Early April, it was approved after several briefings and discussions with the municipality or the municipal officials and fire chiefs across Ontario. There has been several changes from the original proposed mandatory certification. Since then, there will be a legacy program which will be open to all fire departments effective January 1st, 2023. This legacy program is like the grandfathering that happened back in 2018 when the standards were changed from the Ontario standards to NFPA. So what this is going to mean for our department and other departments, when this first was presented to the fire chiefs, the way it was explained made it seem as though it was going to cost a lot of money for municipalities and towns to get their members certified. After several discussions and changes, there are going to be implements that are not going to cost as much as we first anticipated. However, there is still going to be a cost to the municipality, which is hard to estimate at this time. Our in-house training has always met the NFPA standards since we joined NFPA, and will continue to meet the standards. So there will be some minor adjustments to our training as the OFM is revising some of the course material. One main issue that most volunteer departments, including ours, are going to experience will be the recruiting and retention of members due to the new certifications and the mandates. The mandates will require all volunteers to be certified to a similar level as a full-time firefighter. Most of our members are volunteers that volunteer their time to join and as a means of giving back to our community, which I'm very thankful for. And these volunteers may not necessarily have the time to commit to successfully completing the required certification. So pretty much all volunteer firefighters in our department and other departments have a full-time job and families and other commitments. So Our current roster of volunteer firefighters is made up of individuals that work within the municipality, work in nearby communities, work in another province, and or attend a secondary institution for further upgrades of their education. Unfortunately, every position employer may not allow the volunteer time required to complete the amount of training. Other volunteers may provide the option to utilize their holiday time for training, or possibly the option to take time off without pay. Every volunteer and their availability and or circumstances vary. Like for myself, I always remind my members that at the end of the day, they need to do what is best for their careers and their families. Other things that I've jotted down here. Another change that has come out of the discussion will allow for me to request that the O of M to provide a proctor, which is an instructor. The proctor will come and perform the final exam, practice exams after our department has completed all the pre-work and training. This can be done during our training nights, which has changed from originally. They were expecting us to go away and do the final. They've actually changed that to make it cost effectively for municipalities. The OAFC, the Ontario Association of Fire Chief, is also trying to push for the OFM to allow the fire departments, municipalities to perform the final exams and have the authority to sign the volunteers off on their certification, which would help greatly to each department as well, and cut the cost more. Another significant change that has come out of this, out of these discussion, was in regards to the July 1st, 2022 deadline. It was originally stated that all new volunteer members that joined after that date would have to complete their certification within 2 years. This has now been changed to a maximum of 3 years, which gives fire departments and new members a little bit extra time to get certified. For the members that are on prior to July 1st, they still get the 4-year period to get their certification. I have applied to the OFM to host training courses at our fire hall in hopes that we can try to cut down a lot of the cost of sending members away for training. The volunteer members may be required to travel further distances within the province if there is nothing available within the district of Thunder Bay. Approximately half to 3/4 of our department will be 80% certified due to the legacy program, which will still likely be some courses that we'll have to send them away to unless we can get them in our fire department. Upcoming actions for the municipality. We're going to have to perform a risk assessment. This must be completed by January 1st, 2024 and submitted to the OFM. Level of service. This is an urgent action item, as it will be guided documents for all training and certification required going forward within our municipality volunteer fire department. The DNR bylaw will also need to be revised at this time. Levels of service. I did present a revised level of service back in my March report. It is the utmost importance that our community and our volunteer firefighters are aware of what our levels of services are. This level of service dictates what we do and what we cannot do, and what we respond to, and what extent we respond to an emergency situation. Any questions?
Councillor Muir?
Hey, Ryan, for anybody starting after July 1st, how many hours of training does that equate to get their full certification?
So firefighter level 1, level 2, which is NFPA 1001, they're looking at approximately about 200 hours to do both those certifications. So on top of that, you're still going to have a pump op certification, a leadership certification, which is going to be mandatory in our fire department, an officer certification, and a public safety certification. So the majority are like you said, the 80% of the members will have their level 1, level 2 NFPA. So that is the one certification that will be the most time consuming. These other courses are approximately 40 to 50 hours of pre-work, and then your final exam and final practical.
Any other questions? No. That's it, Brian. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. You guys have a good night. I'll go to my next meeting.
Okay, next item 8.2 is a report on administrative activities. Do any members of council have any questions of Mr. Piccolomini? Councilor Muir.
Do you have any highlights from the conference?
Yeah, it was actually really good to be back in person. There was a lot of good content there. I think the highlight of it was exactly that, being in person, being able to network. There was a component of virtual still with the ministers. There was also a budget right in the middle of it where they came out with the budget, but we saw some great pieces on insurance, those the issues that we're facing on the asset management structure. So there was a lot of good, and I think personally my biggest perspective was the in-person and being able to talk to the other communities that are going through the same issues as us. And it's been a while since we were able to do that. So I think it was productive. And then maybe I can highlight, sorry.
Councilor Tedesco.
Mark, you mentioned about the insurance component, and that was advertised, that was broadcast in the news as well, that this is a huge problem for everybody in the area. Did you get any sense of satisfaction that there would be something down the line that they would find some way of giving municipalities some relief?
No, not really. I wish I had a better answer for you. It was what I was going to highlight on our renewal. So we completed our renewal. I completed it and signed it on Friday. So what we're looking at in Red Rock is, and right now is a 12.8% increase on our plan, which last year was substantially higher. But I wish I had a better answer for you on the fact that we are seeing, but what's happening in that industry is it's becoming sole sourced. It's becoming harder and harder to get insurance, not just for municipalities, but you're seeing that rise everywhere in what they call a hard market. So I think we did relatively okay. But in saying that, we probably will see even a significant increase as well once we do take full operations of our water pollution control plant. So right now we're looking at 12.8% increase. I think that will go higher as we reach full completion in operations. So it's a huge issue for a lot of municipalities, and it's one that we all collectively continue to fight. But I hope there's a solution in the near future, but I don't see one that's right out there right now. Also like to just touch on, and because we always talk about the asset management plan, and we have been for a year now, but we're getting very close to the compliance piece. We're looking at hopefully having that in front of council for a look the week of the 16th. It probably will be in front of us at that week, and then to council hopefully the next meeting. So that process is coming to an end, and we will meet the mandatory requirement for compliance by, I believe it's June or early July of this year. So we're on target for that in Red Rock. So that's another bit of a success story, and staff's been working really hard on that because we were quite behind in that process. Just a couple of other highlights from the some good news for Red Rock. I've been working quite hard on our lift stations, our 2 current lift stations, and being able to tie those into current funding under our wastewater control plant project. So we're happy to announce that we did receive that approval for funding on Thursday, I believe, of last week, which was good news considering we will see a provincial writ in the very near future as well. So that news coming out was good. We'll continue to work on exactly what we can tie into that project. But in saying that, there's no additional borrowing. There's nothing. This is an addition built within the current funding structure. So it's really good news for Red Rock because both of our lift stations are very dated, and they do cause numerous call outs for staff at all times. So again, that's a project that we're excited to continue to be able to do, and we'll work hard in the next month or so to put some really good numbers together and have that funded. Last is just the nomination period for municipal elections open today. So just a final highlight from my report.
Any other questions? Okay. No. Is there a mover and seconder for a motion to receive the report? Councilor Muir, Councilor Perk. All in favor? All hands rising, motion is carried. Okay, next item, 8.3, report on the utility account for Jay's Garage. Do members of council have any questions of Mr. Figurini? No, we all know the situation, right? The frozen line. And they did attempt it to fix the issue, but we're unsuccessful. So is there a mover and seconder for a motion to waive the fee related to Jay's Garage for water and sewer amounts owing from March 1st, 2022 till the township can provide service back to the customer due to freezing? Councilor Park, Councilor McDonald. All in favor? All hands rising, motion's carried. Okay, 8.4 is a report deferred from previous council meeting on the council staff relation policy. Do members of council have any questions of Mr. Figurini? Councilor Tedesco.
Reading the material, it kind of worried me that I wasn't too sure how much we would be allowed to speak with people. This is ridiculous, but almost a little bit worried about waving hi to say some of the public works people. Is that considered maybe, but I was just a little bit nervous reading and I understand what the intention is or purpose, but maybe a little clarification at some point.
Yeah, for sure. Well, first of all, it's a policy that we need to have in place, and we should have had in place for a while now. So it's, but in saying that, there is a different role for a counselor than there is for staff. So I mean, I know that the policy is not saying, I mean, you can wave at somebody, that's certainly, but as a counselor, the direction to say, go speak to the director of operations and or an operator and say, listen, I want you to go plow this street, not this street. That's not the role of council. And I think that's what it's saying. It's saying that, you know, in a structure that operates well, there's that that understanding that if that was a question that you had, that would then go through administration and staff. So it certainly doesn't permit you from talking to staff in any way, but it is something that, as counselor, you wouldn't direct staff. That's not your job, right?
Any other questions or comments? Councillor McDonald?
I just have a comment. There's just a little typo in the empowerment. Second line, members shall, I think it's supposed to be. It says members hall. The S is missing.
Oh, yeah, okay, we can definitely amend that. For sure.
Okay, so do I have to say amendment?
Yeah,
When
we'll
I'm,
amend it.
okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Is there a mover and seconder for motion to approve the council staff relation policy with the amendment for the Township of Red Rock? Councillor Muir, Councillor McDonald. All in favor? All hands rising, motion is carried. Okay, item 8.5 is a report on Township property council previously requested. Do members of council have questions of Mr. Figurini? Councillor Tedesco.
Could there be a little bit of clarification as to where these properties are? Some of them have, the plan and lot and everything else. That's just hard for most people to understand.
Yeah, and I did share the actual locations with council, with some information that and detailed it into a list. So we will advertise those properties with detailed descriptions, but some of the information that we did pull we condensed it into that list. So I'm not sure if you were looking for particular properties. I could kind of summarize where they were if that's what you were looking for. So again, these are township owned properties. So this is, it's not similar to a tax sale as we previously said. These are township owned properties. We've had a lot of interest in the office in the last little bit with people looking to purchase properties. So this is a start.
So these are surplus properties, right? They're surplus properties, and 1, 2, 3. 3 of them do have the addresses on them. So it would be 3 that would be roller lot numbers. So you can, again, that was sent in an email, but we'll clarify the exact locations. Okay, is there a mover and seconder for motion to approve the council's, oh, wrong one. Is there a mover and seconder for motion to declare the attached listings of township properties as surplus? Councillor Muir, Councillor McDonald. All in favor? All hands rising, motion is carried. Was your hand up, Cal? Sorry. Yes, okay. Okay, item 8.6 is a report on Live from the Rock sponsorship. Do members of council have any questions of Mr. Figurini? Seeing none. Okay, is there a mover and seconder for motion to provide an in-kind donation to Live from the Rock for the use of the Red Rock Marina Park and surrounding area for the 2022 Folk Fest? Councillor Park, Councillor Tedesco. All in favor? All hands rising, motion is carried. Okay, there's no bylaws this evening. There's no new business. Items 11.1 to 11.3 are outstanding. Any members of council have any questions? Councillor McDonald.
It's not really a question. It's just, is there any updates that we need to know about on any of these?
I guess we could provide an update that on the recreation in summary for the community, the job advertisement for the intern has been posted. It has been posted online. It will be in the local paper as well this week. And the business recognition program, we discussed that late this last week in the office. The intake that we have been getting from the community businesses so far wasn't great. So we discussed taking one more shot at sending out that. We don't want to put the plan forward with the few businesses that have gave us a summary without then doing others. We'd like to hopefully collectively have a group so we can tie everyone together. We'll take one more shot at that, and we'll see where they go, and we'll make a decision based on where we're going to go with that. But the uptake hasn't been great with the letters we've sent out. And that's about it.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, seeing none. Next item is bylaw to confirm proceedings of council. Can I please have a mover and seconder for a motion to pass the bylaw? Councillor McDonald. Councillor Muir. All in favor? All hands rising, motion is carried. Time being 7:32. Business is adjourned, meeting is adjourned.